Folks, we are back. We are back. We are back. We got a lot to talk about today. Uh, Man, we just Mother's Day was yesterday. I hope everybody had a good Mother's Day and celebrated and with your mom and made sure that she was happy. What happened to you yesterday, Ted? Quickly.
I spent the whole afternoon with my family. We went out to dinner, man, to this real nice restaurant and enjoyed it. You know, my wife and my two daughters and my in-laws and grandkids. So it was a whole family of about 20.
Oh man, you had a good time then.
Oh yeah, the food was delicious too, bro.
Oh man, you had a good time. Well, we'll talk to you people on the other end.
Welcome to the TED Ed Podcast, where we delve into the issues that shape our daily lives and drive our productivity. We confront topics that matter deeply to all of us, from healthcare and affirmative action to voting rights and monetary success and failure. We cover it all. And yes, we dive into the complex world of politics, exploring how our country has evolved from slavery to the 21st century. Our content is crafted with care and expertise, drawing from years of experience in these critical areas. We invite you to give the TED Ed podcast a listen. You won't be disappointed. Share your thoughts with friends and confidants, and don't forget to like, comment, and share our episodes. Your engagement helps us grow and reach more listeners. Are you passionate about these topics? Do you have unique insights to share? You could be one of our guest speakers. Drop us a line, send an email, or leave a comment. All requests will be considered. Join us on this journey of exploration and understanding. This is the TED Ed Podcast. Thank you, and enjoy the show.
Okay, let's get this thing started here. Uh, Before we came on the show and everything, Mr. Harvey and I were talking about some of our last shows and stuff. He does a cursory review and stuff of them. I don't usually do it. I just produce the daggone things and put them up there on the site. So we asked all of you guys to get out there, watch the show, and like it and subscribe to the channel. So,
Well, that's a lot of people watching it.
yeah,
They might not put a like on it, but it's a lot of people watching it.
yeah. Well,
And
they
then
need to.
we get 10, 15 likes, but it's a lot of people watching our channel.
Yeah.
And we appreciate you watching it. And I always want to make a statement for myself. I can't talk for Ed. I'm a 76-year-old man who have tremendous amount of experience in life. I believe I have some wisdom, some experience, but I have my own opinion about what's going on in this country and the world. I like to think I'm well read. I got a college degree. Not that that makes any difference, but the fact is I have done some studying. I've worked for 5 different corporations, 500 corporations. The bottom line is that there are people that's out there that's they just putting all kind of stuff out there. You know, they want to talk about that person and this person. We don't do that. We talk about business. We talk about politics. Well, some sports. And we might talk about situations for a second or a minute, but we won't dwell on those things. The main thing is that we try to inform you, or at least things that you might not have time to even tackle. And we'll discuss that for a minute or give you our opinion. Now, you got to remember, these things that we say, at least what I say, a lot of times, it's just my opinion. And then we'll bring facts in as far as what people are saying, you know, if it's in the newspaper or magazine or article or what have you. But, you know, and I enjoy this. I enjoy it. You know, however, it is getting very hard to talk about these things because we're not using people that's out there in the administration world and the business world. Is all mumbo jumbo now. Nothing is solid. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen. Everything is mumbo jumbo. You know, that's the whole thing. Chaos. Just chaos. Keep you off guard, to keep you from planning your life, to keep you from doing the things that we're accustomed to. These people in the administration and some of these business world, they're miserable. They don't want you to be happy. They're miserable. They don't like themselves. And most of them hate you because you're middle class or you're poor or because, you know, you don't care about what they're doing. So they want to make your life miserable. I.e., for example, make you scared to fly now. That's one thing they're doing right now. Make you scared of drinking water because we know the water is not that safe now. Make you scared to go to the grocery store. All of those things so that you can be miserable. But in the words of Tisha James, we will survive.
Well, Ted, we thank you for that.
Did you hear her speech? Did you hear her speech?
We thank you for that.
Did you hear her speech, though, man? Did you hear her speech?
Well, I think you hit some points and stuff, but I think you had a few more things and stuff that you should have added to that. You got we selling ourselves short, Ted. I'm telling you that we selling ourselves short. We are. As I look back on your life and I look back on mine, we're selling ourselves a little bit short because we can say some things and stuff to people and everything, but man, eh, most of you folks out there, some of you all probably have some sheltered lives, and some of you all probably had lived in the city and everything, and uh, you went off to school and you did what you did. But most of you all had no idea the struggle that me and this old boy and stuff, and a lot of our friends and stuff went through. People to be where we at and everything. Man, if they had just one iota of what we did, what we had to go through to get to where we at now, it is bad. We can have best seller books and stuff out there because Ted had his own path, I had mine and stuff, and we met each other and stuff and everything. But man,
Yeah, it's true.
hey, we had some. Man, you people just don't realize what the heck we had to go through. Have any of you guys ever couldn't get home from school from playing sports and you had to sleep in a laundromat all night and then catch the bus, go home, take a shower, jump back on the bus to get back to school? We had to do that just to survive. Just to survive. And a lot of times we had to get around. We didn't have no cars. We had to use this. This is our mode of transportation. This is our mode of transportation when we were growing up. You get out there on the highway and you put your thumb out there, and hopefully somebody will stop, give you a ride home or close to your house. So that's why I just said to you, you don't know little house spots and everything. But this is, man, we need to go deeper than that, buddy.
Oh, I can go deep, but I don't want to go
Yes,
deep,
sir.
man. That's too deep.
Hey, man, somebody needs to know what you see is not where we was at, where we came from. Because I know there's some folks out there that's probably sitting right out here. It ain't nothing happened to them. It ain't as bad as us. And we sitting up here in the ghetto with no food in the house and all of that. And we got 7 or 8 kids and stuff, and in the 2-bedroom apartment. Hey, folks. We can tell you guys some stories here and everything, I'm telling you, but we did not. The only thing different is that we did not let that keep us down. We had a desire in our hearts to get the hell out of there and do whatever it took to get out of there. Now, our only problem is sometimes we didn't look back far enough and everything to try to bring more up. I did it for a little bit and everything, but I just left it
Me
alone
too.
because I just left it alone and went out there and got into the world. So I got to make me some money, take care of my family. But I did reach back for a while
Yep.
and struggle to doing that. And
And
then
it
I
takes
said,
money to do that.
it takes money. It takes money. It takes money and your time to do it and to deal with people who have those old antiquated ideas. That's why when we sit on this show and we tell these Democratic folks out there and everything, you got to hit the streets. You can't sit up there in that ivory tower and get with those people and stuff and let them know and get them to support you.
That's
You
right.
got to get out there and talk to these folks. I've done it. Man, I'm telling you, I've done it. Many a times I've been out there and done it. And the only reason why we were successful and everything is because we got out there with the people. We had our first Black president, Barack Obama. He came through the system in Illinois, and most people who read his book and everything, he talks all about that. But nobody really talks about everything, the other thing that happened and how people followed him, how he created himself an army. He had an army of volunteers, almost over 1 million people supported his campaign, volunteered for his campaign. These people got out there and hit the streets. He had college students and stuff leaving school on the East Coast on the weekend and coming down into South Carolina so he can win that primary. He had people who were coming from school and everything, and they hit every daggone county in Iowa. He had groups of people who were sitting out there hitting every daggone county up in New Hampshire. They had a game plan to win. Most of these folks, they don't want to get out there. You got to. I don't care. Politics is politics. You have to get out there with the people, and you have to have people who are going to volunteer their time. You have to have people and stuff who are committed to doing what needs to be done. I'm looking at Bernie Sanders and them. They got these huge crowds. They sitting out there, but what are you doing with those crowds? What are you doing with them? Are you bringing them into your folds? Are you keeping in contact with them? Are you letting them be a part of your campaign? What are you doing? Just because you got 20,000 or 30,000 people out there and they sitting up there hollering and screaming, what are you doing after you leave them? Are you sitting out there and are you engaging these people and telling them what they need to get done? Because they need to be out there in the streets. Use those people who come to see you. It's okay to get out there, get with the people, but you got to engage the people, keep them engaged. And we talk about that on our show. People, You need to get into your local politics. Get out there and get involved in local politics if you want to get your things done. If you don't want to see people like this knucklehead in the White House, you got to get out there and get engaged. Those are the facts. Some of them, anyway.
Absolutely, Ed, you're telling them right.
Hey, that's it, man. You're not gonna win. You're not gonna get out there because
I
people
wonder how
didn't.
many people did they have taking names and emails?
Yeah, and to give you an idea of how we had to work for Barack Obama, we had to go and knock on doors. We sent people out there to knock on doors, and there were people out there who had no idea who this man was. And we had to sit down there and explain to them and say, this is the guy, this is his politics, this is what he does. We spoke for him. That was what you need to get out there and do, people. You got to get out there. Well, I keep on saying that, but I'm sorry. I'm just being redundant here, and the same old thing goes over again. But be innovative. Think about what you're doing. Put yourself in those people's places and stuff that you are going out there to visit. Talk to those folks. Get out there. I saw uh, this young gentleman and stuff who was Malcolm, I guess his name is Marcus, whatever. He's from Florida. Young guy. He was a House of Representatives, and he and Chris Murphy and stuff had a couple of town halls in these red districts. And the one thing that he said that touched upon me was that after they had their town hall, he purposely got off that stage and walked out there into the audience and talked to those people. Hear what they have to say. Just like Tia said, you might only can give them 2 or 3 minutes or 5 minutes at the most and everything and talk with somebody else. But that's what you have to do. Find out what these folks are thinking and help them to get what they need to get done. So it takes more than standing on the stage, people. You got to get out there and look these folks in the face and let them know that you are human. Even though you up there in Congress, you are just like them and you are working for them. You understand what they need.
You know, I'm gonna say this, and this
Go
is
ahead.
kind of out off the table. But when you have 85 million people that don't even bother to vote, 85 million, that means you're not contacting everybody. There's something wrong with this picture, Ed, because everything is politics. Everything, politics is in everything, from the local to the federal. Whether you're going to have good roads, good bridges, you're going to have supplements as far as different things that you need for your community or your state. Everything is politics. And if you don't work these politicians, then you're not going to get anything for your community, for your neighborhood. Everything is politics. You can have the most well-off plan in your neighborhood, and they can come through and build a freeway right through it. Because you didn't even know what they're doing. Why they doing that? Because you don't even know what they got planned. They have destroyed so many neighborhoods, building highways and tearing things down and building something else up or all of that. You got to be engaged. Because they changing laws every day. You got to be engaged. I mean, this is just the way America is. If you don't stay engaged, next thing you know, you say, what they building over there? You don't even know what they building in your neighborhood. Somebody got a little money and they say, hey, and they got permission and got a zoning area to build a whatever. And next thing you know, they trying to move you out of there. what they call it is, eminent domain or some crap, and they just say, okay,
Name of that
we're gonna buy
domain.
you out. We'll give you half of what your property is worth or whatever. Or maybe you live in an apartment complex and the guy that sold the apartment complex under you and you ain't got no place to stay now. You got to move. Whether you stay in an apartment or a house or whatever, you got to be engaged and find out what's going on. I mean, I stay in an apartment. I can get a house if I want to, but I chose to live in an apartment because I'm lazy. I don't want to be fixing up nothing. But the point is that if I see something going on in my neighborhood, I'm calling my city. I'm calling my city. I'm calling the mayor's office. I'm calling somebody, find out what's going on. If the lights is broke, I'm calling. If the lights are out, I'm calling. You got to get engaged and find out what's going on. Because I'm gonna tell you, things be changing real quick. Especially when they just let 60 people they let 60 South Africans come into this country talking about asylum. And you know they're gonna get a check.
Hey, they call them refugees.
Yeah. They're gonna get a check. That's just the first flight. They probably gonna have about a dozen of them or more. 10,000, 20,000 of them. Because all of them don't have that big land and stuff like that. You know, some of them just living there, just surviving. So they're coming here now. And you know they're going to get a check. You know Donald Trump going to get them some money.
They get him a check, and he bringing them here for a reason.
Mm.
He ain't bringing them here for no bull crap. He bringing them here for a reason. And they have not told anybody why they doing it, other than this what we gonna do. And nobody saying, well, why or what for or whatever. I'm gonna bring these people here because they being persecuted down in South Africa because they are the white population in South Africa. Nobody brought those black folks here when the white folks ran the thing back in the 70s and the 80s. They didn't do that. They didn't bring not one black person and stuff here to save them from what's going on. Apartheid was a summer gun. They were killing them like all get out, and nobody put them on a plane and brought them here to the United States. Not a one. Not a one. But now that they are not empowering everything, and they're telling people, well, we can't be around these Negroes over here, these black folks and stuff, because they got the power, they in the government. Well, we got to get them out of there because they are refugees. Nobody went to Gaza and got them folks out of there who were refugees. They were being destroyed, still being destroyed, a whole nation being destroyed. Nobody brought them over here on no plane. They can't even get food to them so they can eat. Feed the children, give them some milk, give them some whatever. What are we into now, people? Anyway, we're going to get on here with our show, Ted. I'm looking around here and we got a big old tariff issue down here now. They're saying that our docks and our ports and stuff, they are completely empty. I haven't seen a few stores and stuff here where I live at because we live in a somewhat affluent area. So these people, they don't call our area a food desert. We don't live in a food desert. Now, some of people and stuff, they have places where they call a food desert. Well, those are the places and stuff where they got a store for 30,000 or 40,000 people. But we live in an area where they got a store for every 5,000 people. They're gonna feed these folks here. We haven't saw them empty shelves yet, but I know that there are some places in this area where I live at in Georgia who got some stores where they ain't got them shelves is empty, but they don't care nothing about them because guess what? They don't vote.
That's right.
They don't vote.
And then here's the thing. A lot of those people that's in those food deserts, we talked about this a few times. They have to go 5 miles out their way or longer to go to the grocery store. A lot of these elderly people, they don't have transportation. They're by themselves. They can't just go a couple of blocks and boom, they're right there at the grocery store down the street. This is the thing, and make your life miserable. They want you to be miserable. They want you to be miserable. That's what it is. That's what I believe. They don't want you to be happy. They don't want you to be content. But this is where, and I was reading an article, and this is a big movement now. They're talking about, and I agree to this, community. This is what they're talking about. We have to be a community. That means you have to know your neighbors. You have to know people. You got to get together. You got to figure out, how do you survive? If you're an elderly person, and, get to know your neighbors, if your neighbors, right around the same age you are, they might need a ride to the grocery store. Community. If you got a piece of land and you can grow a garden. Community. And this is what we got to do. We got to look out for each other. And you got family, you got to look out and talk to your family, your kids and adult kids, or maybe, and just figure it out. Because right now, we on our own now, because to be honest with you, we don't know how many cuts they're going to do. I'm on Medicare, but I'm not on Medicaid yet. So I will say this. If people that are on Medicaid and they dependent on that Medicaid to get to the hospital or get to a clinic, and then they find out you offer Medicaid, that's going to hurt a lot of people. And then you get all of these different places where they was providing food shelters, and then they talking about cutting millions, billions of dollars from that, the lack of a better word, food stamps. I'm not on food stamps yet. I don't plan on being on neither one of them. But the bottom line is that there's going to be a lot of people that's going to be cut short for food. And I don't know, I ain't saying no uproar. I ain't saying nothing about it yet. Maybe it is. But I haven't been reading about it or hearing about it or whatever. And maybe, pride is going to, you can't be prideful. Can't be prideful. These churches, I ain't hearing nothing about these churches talking about helping these people. And when they start doing all this cutting and everything, I I did a whole study on how much money that during the pandemic these churches were receiving. They received millions of dollars. Not so much the black churches. I'm sure they got a few pennies, nickels, and dimes, but there was a lot of churches that got $2, $3, $4, $5 million. Community. this is what we got to think now. The way we got to think, community. And I like that. I like that concept. You know, I mean, I've been used to, you know, just hey, just me and my family and what have you. But I think I'm gonna start making sure all my neighbors are doing okay. You don't know because it's a lot of prideful people. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they'll sit there and whatever.
Mm. Well, anyway, over the weekend, I guess we had a breakthrough here on this trade stuff here. I guess they decided that they wanted to give to make a deal and everything because they realized that that country that everybody looked down upon for a long, long time when we were growing up, and as the years went by, they become a major cog in our economy. And by not dealing with them, the old boys and stuff over there in China, they look like they had the whip. They don't have a lot of Belt and Roads projects and stuff going on here in the United States. They got a bunch of them all over the world, but they become a very, very, very powerful entity to deal with. And I guess our president and stuff finally realized that he couldn't bully them. So he finally decided that he wanted to make a 90-day pause and stuff with it. But he manages to go into them 90-day pauses and stuff with everything, and they end up to being damn near policy because I can guarantee you, Ted, that those Chinese and stuff, they got something for him now. They ain't got their foot off of his neck yet. He think that he done solved his problem and everything, but they not no fools. They might crank up and start sending stuff over here, and then once we start getting ourselves together, because we completely messed this country up already. These people over there, guess what's getting ready to happen? They're gonna start sending their stuff immediately over here. But we got to get our stuff together, make the stuff that we need, or go over there and get the stuff that we want to trade with them and everything. And by the time we get our stuff done and everything, it's going to be 2 or 3 weeks, maybe even a month down the road before we can be able to sell some of our stuff over there in China. But they're going to already have their
Well, the
stuff here.
farmers is out. Most of the farmers are shit out of luck.
Yeah, but they still, yeah, they ain't got no help. They ain't got nothing to get it done. So they're going to have to crank up to try to get their stuff over here. But China has already told them, we don't need your stuff yet. They're going to have to turn in orders to sell their stuff over there. And if China don't make any orders, what they going to do? They're going to say, hey, man, we already done got our grain from Brazil. So you done just ruined your stuff. They done signed orders with Brazil.
You can't be playing with these people.
Yeah, these people are they are years ahead of us, Ted. We plan like every day. Every day we got stuff going on, but these people are planning years ahead. They way ahead of us, and we trying to play catch up. And this knucklehead, he can't catch up because he can't think way ahead.
Yeah.
They done all thought in them 2 days. They probably done got Scott Bessent or whoever our Secretary of Trade, Commerce, or whoever he is, Treasury Secretary, and that they done hoodwinked him already. And he sat down there and think, well, we got this. You didn't get nothing. You sit down there celebrating what you got, and these people getting ready to crank you down, brother. They getting ready to wear us out here because we not thinking ahead.
He just
You
trying to
have
get through the. He trying to get through the summer.
right. They
That's
just
all he's doing is thinking about getting through the summer, and then
and
come up with some other strategy.
and,
But
and these people already gonna have. They sitting up there, Ted, with with their docks and stuff full of these daggone cars with these things packed full of their stuff. So as soon as they got that stuff, they call their people up and say, "We can start shipping this stuff over there right now." They got their ships ready to go, and they're gonna have their stuff in our docks and stuff. We're gonna be low, and and we ain't even ready to do anything at all. They never thought to sit down there and tell them to say, "Well, our farmers over here, they didn't have a plan." They could have said, "You going now that we did this, you're going to have to buy some grain here." That ain't in their deal.
mm-mm.
You got to buy some grain. It's
You
not in
got
their
people
deal.
that got hay, they got grain, they
Everything they got alfalfa, all that stuff. You got to buy some of this now in this negotiations here. We're going to do this for you. You're going to have to buy some stuff from us. Look out for the people and stuff you got. They ain't had no plan. I don't think they wanted to do was go over there and figure out how they're going to get them to start shipping stuff back over here. That's it. There wasn't no plan. And these people sitting across the table from them, they looking at these stupid son of a guns over there because that's how Trump picks out stupid people. He got a cabinet full of stoops. All they know how to do is
he
talk.
over there running deals, trying to get deals for Musk and his little program that he got. What you call it? The little internet thing that he got going on, trying to get deals for that. So
Muff, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, Starlink or whatever that is.
yeah.
Yeah, he want to get Starlink, but he ain't. That's all they care about is their own stuff. Now, and he's sitting over here congratulating himself. Oh yeah, we got it now. We got China and stuff. They bringing the stuff back over here. And them farmers out there in them real estates are still looking up there and saying, "What did you get for us? We got grain on the ground, rotten. We got stuff that we got to plant that's got to put in the ground. Who we gonna sell this stuff to? China already got the grain.
They got the contracts already with
They got the
other countries.
contracts already with somebody else. So did you make sure that you took care of them farmers while you was sitting down at that table? Hell no, they didn't. These people is years ahead of our folks. They have no idea what the hell they doing. Nobody, not even our Secretary of State, not even even though some of them are billionaires and they got money, they not all they is into finance. They not into negotiating trade deals.
Yeah.
This man is a Treasury Secretary. He only deals with money, buying and selling money, dealing with finances, not going out there and dealing in the other industry that he doesn't know anything about.
There's so many sectors that you have to know a lot. And
A
it's
whole lot.
extremely complicated because you got so many sectors that you got to deal with.
Absolutely. Now, when I saw them walk in there, China had what 2 or 3 carloads of folks that came in there with them. Some of them they wasn't at the table, but they was all sitting in the background listening to what the heck was going on. They walking in there, and I don't think they got the best of them. There's other knuckleheads sitting at the table. 2 people. That's it. What do you think them other folks who wasn't inside their room were doing, and these people had these earpieces in their ear? They in there telling them what the heck going on. Matter of fact, they probably got them folks sitting down there doing and looking their best at them and telling them because they understand body languages of people and stuff was across the table for them negotiating stuff. We got them. So now they told them that, and they said, "Well, we're going to do this 30%." and we're going to do 10% for you guys. That sounds damn good to invest it in there. But guess what the 30% consists of? The 20% tariff that they put on the fentanyl that came into this country. So they let them have that number, that 30, and they said, wait, we're going to let y'all have 10. It looked good out in the news. It looked good in the news.
Well, you know, the news people, you know, they try to normalize this guy like he's doing something, you know, all he's doing is just messing stuff up. You know, he did a thing with the pharmaceuticals with Joe Biden had already set up. He shut that down. Now he called himself like he's fixing it. Joe Biden had already worked out a deal for pharmaceuticals and cut down the prices. They cut down 10 different medications and working on other medications to be cut down. And here he is bringing it up, and now he's calling a big hullabaloo about that, and we don't even know it's going to work. He just throwing stuff out there. That's all he's doing, throwing stuff out there. That's all they're doing is just throwing stuff out there.
Yeah, we got to fool the American people, and some of them believe in that stuff. They believe
that he's doing something.
They believe he's doing something. When I looked at that number, that 30-10, I said, I know them damn Chinese ain't did this shit. That there was a reason behind them doing it. And then I started reading up on it and listening to some of these people from China, because I look at the news people from China who own the internet. I see what they talking about. And them folks out there looking at me saying, yeah, well, they got some people out there that think that China got screwed because they got the 30 and the 10. And then they started explaining what was in that 30. I say, shit, we done got screwed again. Trump done got took.
But he looking like it's a victory.
He wake up at night and he think about stuff. Somebody tell him something. If they tell him something right before he go to bed, then he gonna wake up and everything they done told him, he gonna recite it. So, I just thought about that, and somebody else already told him that stuff. So he said, I thought about this at night, so I'll write this down.
But here's the caveat to all of that. When you look at the stock market, which has nothing to do with these trades, but it does to a certain degree because it's sort of kind of, you know, emotional investing. And so therefore everybody say, okay, let's jump on this. They get people to put their money into certain things. These brokers get these people and sell them on that. And now the stock market jumped up to 1,000. So now it's up to about 41 and a half. So it was down as low as 38. But this right here ain't nothing but a profit thing, because they're gonna play that game for a few weeks. And then next thing you know, they're gonna sell and the stock market go right back down. Because something else is gonna happen. And they're gonna get some profit. They're gonna get some profit because they bought low and they're gonna sell high. And this is the game they're playing with these people's money, because every these retirement plans, these 401ks, that's deposited into those accounts. It's going into their accounts, Ed. And so therefore, okay, now it's going up. But every month, whether it's down or low, that money still got to be taken out. Now, whether you put it in cash or you put it in the stock market. And some people have took all their money out and put it in cash, and then what do? So now that everybody's trying to buy the stock market because it's going back up. And soon as something else happens, they're going to start selling, and those people that's able to sell quick, those are the ones that are going to make the profits. Because everybody can't sell their stock quick. You know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
If the
Yep.
stock market is $100 and and everybody trying to sell, the people that's gonna get first priority is those big money managers.
They right there with their finger on the button. Well, and then you're going to have some cash reserve that is sitting back there and everything, the way you can sit out there and buy this stuff. And if you ate up all your cash reserve and you don't have anything, and you screwed, you still
You
sitting out
screwed.
there screwed.
You screwed.
Because all your cash reserve is gone.
Yeah. So it's a game. They're playing a game with these people's money,
A big game.
especially these retirement plans. You know, if you are not in with the market, the stock market, I'm talking about these big time brokers, and they know that they can sell this stuff quick, you can forget about it, or buy quick. A lot of times you might have problems even trying to buy. So they duping the American people all kind of ways, on tariffs, on the stock market, in real estate. You know, here in Florida,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're aware of it, but there are hundreds and thousands of homes available now. People are selling left and right because they can't afford the real estate. They can't afford the insurance. That's why the Florida governor is trying to get the state to eliminate property tax or give them some kind of subsidy, because people can't afford this insurance, or people that can't get insurance.
Mm-hmm.
So people are selling their homes left and right, bro. There's all kind of houses available around here.
Might be your time to buy then, Theodore. Something to think about. Something
Oh,
to
I've been
think about.
looking. I've been looking. I got
Yeah.
a real estate
Yeah.
person
Something to
looking.
think about there. Something to think about, people.
But
Ah,
the average house around here is like $450.
oh man, yeah.
So I figured most of those homes is about $150,000 to $200,000 more than what they're worth. So I can wait till they go down to about 300,
Uh-huh.
325.
What about the insurance? It's still high?
Well, you can get some insurance, but it's gonna cost you. It's gonna cost you an arm and a leg, and then you got HOA.
Oh
That's
boy,
gonna
it's
be
so
a
serious.
couple of $1,000s a year. And then you're gonna have your insurance gonna cost you about $3, and then your property tax gonna cost you about $5. So right there alone is $10,000 to $12,000, $15,000 a year. Just that. That's not even counting your mortgage. So that house will cost you about 30 some $1,000s a year. The average house will cost you about $30,000 a year just to have a house. Probably more, because most I say those are the low end. Most houses now are around 5 or 6. Big time houses, communities. Hey, it ain't cheap, bro. We was riding downtown yesterday. Man, they got so many high rises, condominiums. Most of those condominiums go for $10,000 a month.
Whoa. Whoa. So who's buying these condominiums?
They renting them. There's
They
some people
renting
that's
them.
buying them, but I mean, a lot of people just rent them for $10,000, $7,000 to $10,000 a month. I mean, it's a bunch of them too now.
Man, that's a big load there. They must be pulling in a heck of a lot of money and stuff, but they can afford to pay $7,000 to $10,000 a month for that's still rent.
Well, you got a lot of retirees that come from New York and all over, that's
And they got a lot of money. They got a lot of money sitting back there,
yeah.
huh? Oh man. Well, there's a lot of folks out there tell you who can't afford no $10,000 a month, man. A lot of them folks out there, man, they can't even make $7,000 in 2 months.
You're right.
Let
And that's
alone one.
and he's cutting and he's getting ready to kick a lot of these people out of these Section 8.
Yep. Food stamps, everything.
A whole lot of people gonna be kicked out of Section 8. I was reading an article on that the other day.
And yeah, I'm pretty sure that there are some people out there saying that he can't do that. He can't do that. Yes, he can. And them, your representatives are planning on doing it.
That's
They
why
are.
you got to stay engaged and you got to be on top of this stuff. And you voting against your own interests when you don't vote. If you don't vote, then you can't keep getting like subsidies. That's what. Hey, ain't too many people making $15,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a week, or even it's not too many people making that kind of money. The average person if they're lucky, they'd be making $6,000 or $7,000 if they're lucky. But there's a lot of people, man, that's not making that kind of money a month. They're not making that kind of money every 2 weeks, bringing home $15,000 or something. The average person, man, is making, like, if they're lucky, $4,000 a month. $1,000, $1,000 a week. That's not a lot of money these days.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I first got married, we paid $125 a month for a 1-bedroom apartment. Then we moved up to $175 in Bradley Bourbonnais. 3 bedrooms, fireplace, $175 a month.
That was a long time ago.
Them days
Yeah.
are over.
That was a long time ago. Final word, Ted.
We haven't even hit the hard times yet, Ed. We haven't hit the hard times yet. I mean, I hate to be negative, but we are survivors, but we haven't even hit it yet. So I don't know how you're going to prepare for it, unless you got a little money saved up. But that ain't going to be enough, if you got a little money. Because then you're going to be using all your savings trying to keep up. So I don't know. we just live in a world now that, man, people got to work 2-3 jobs
Mm-hmm.
just to keep a roof over their head. So, hey, somewhere down the line, somebody, I just read in the article that Bill Gates planned on giving away, $150 billion away?
200
200 billion?
next 10 years.
So,
He's gonna get rid of most of his fortune in the next 10 years. So I guess since he's divorced from Melinda, she's got her little share, and I guess the money that he's got left, he's gonna just give it away and stuff, and probably just have enough to keep him going. Probably another. He probably. I'm pretty sure he'll probably have at least $2 or $3 billion and stuff still left where he can live off of, nice and comfortable until he passes away. So, hey, they got enough money, man. That $200 billion, they're gonna still make money off of that. And doing it in 10 years, so you're looking at what, $20 billion a year, and he still every year it goes, he's gonna build that stuff right back up again. So hey, that's man, that's a drop in the bucket. He's making people think that he's a big philanderer and everything, but hell, he gonna make that 20 billion. If he gonna give 20 billion 1 year, and before the year's out, he probably gonna make the 20 billion back.
and then write it all off.
There you go. Because he figured he can live off of 20 billion. So hey, I'm gonna live off that 20 billion.
Hey, that's amazing. I was thinking about that today. Here's most of us think about thousandaires and millionaires. These people talk about billions. And we haven't even reached the multi-million-dollar level, but these people have reached the billions. Crazy, man.
That's where we at. And the cost of living is going up, and they don't usually give with crap because it's going up because they don't care nothing about it. It's like, man, I listened to Michelle Obama and her brother Craig. They have a podcast out there now going on. Well, they're doing tours and stuff on other people's podcasts, and they're sitting down and doing talks and stuff and everything, but they also have their own tables, discussions and stuff for their podcast, but they also doing table discussions with other folks and stuff who have a huge audience, which is a good thing on her part and everything, because as they come on these folks' podcasts and everything, they're sitting at the table talking with them, and all the people that their host and stuff has and everything, they're listening to them. So, and then part of what they do is the host says, well, Craig and Michelle are doing a podcast. So as they go back to their podcast, all those people come in that they had that was viewing on the other podcast now are coming on there to watch their podcast. Girlfriend is a master and stuff at getting stuff done. So this one podcast that I saw and everything that they were on and stuff, this guy, he's in England and he's doing a podcast. He's sitting down doing a podcast with Craig and Michelle. And in this interview that he's doing, Michelle is explaining to him, he asked him a question about what she thought about Barack when he was running for president. And she says that, and she telling the audience and stuff that everybody thinks that it's a good thing. You go into the White House and everything, you don't have to worry about anything. But she said that you do, because the only thing that the White House provides you is a roof over your head and people there to work. So everything else that you get, you have to pay for. Your food has to be paid for. Anything you do, you have to pay for it. And she even mentioned the fact and everything that when the kids and her mom, when she was traveling with them, when they get on that plane, they have to pay for them. Their children have to have a ticket to get on the plane with them on Air Force One.
Mm.
Her mom was following them, taking care of the kids while they out doing things. She had to pay for her mom to be on that plane. All the food that they ate there in the White House, they had to buy the food. That's their expense. Anything you have to
And
get
you know
done,
that wasn't no cheap food.
it wasn't no cheap thing. It wasn't a cheap thing. All that stuff got to be paid for by them if you move in. Now you do get some things and stuff that the state pays for, but a lot of things that you get is not being paid for. I didn't know that, but she explained that. I said, "Oh my God!" So because her and Barack weren't no billionaires and stuff and everything who moving into the White House or have 100, $200 million in their pocket, and it was an expense and stuff for them that they had not planned in their budget. And she said the only thing that saved them when he finally got into politics and stuff was in 2004. Barack did that speech, big speech there at the Democratic convention. And he had a book that he was putting out. And the book hit the bestseller list and everything after that speech. And the royalties that came in from that book saved them and kept them going and stuff during his political career, going around and trying to become elected and everything, because his job is to become elected, to become the president. And in that primary, he is not working. He doesn't work at all, and nobody's working. So they had to live off his royalties. That was the only thing that saved them. Man,
Wow.
you find these things out, man. She sat there and explained all that. Man, I was amazed at what she was telling us and stuff and everything. And then as I looked at it, she was right. He wasn't working during that time. So all that time he had to get out there and they
Well, wasn't
still
he getting a check for being a senator?
he was, but it wasn't enough.
Really?
Yeah, because all his travels and stuff and everything, he had to pay for it himself and everything when he went out there on the road and all that. Yes, he was getting what $100 and some $1,000, but they still had uh their student loans and stuff that they were still paying back. They had to have their housing and stuff there. Whenever he went to other places, they had to pay for his housing. Plus, he had people who were riding with him and everything. And he had to give them a salary. And the campaign wasn't bringing in enough money a lot of times to pay all them people. So he had to do that. And he had a car that he had to have out there with him and stuff. And she said that some of those things that he had, the campaign couldn't pay for it.
Damn.
He got on the plane. He had to pay for that to go to the different events. He had to pay for that plane ticket to go there. And Duck campaign didn't have to pay for all that stuff. Man, it was eye opening what she was saying, and I think they're going to have a pretty good podcast. I don't know about Craig, but I think that the podcast is going to be made by her because she's very dynamic. She's a dynamic person. And she also said why she didn't go to those events and stuff, to the inaugurations and stuff for Trump. Why she didn't go to Carter's funeral, because she looked at the seating. I ain't going. She said Barack understood. Said my husband understood. Because I had to say, I had to put my foot down for things that I didn't want to do. See, I didn't want to go there, so I put my foot down. I ain't got to go. We're no longer the president anymore or the first lady. I don't have to go if I don't want to. She didn't want to go to that thing with that man. So Barack went by himself. She didn't want to go to that funeral because she was going to have to sit by that knucklehead, and she didn't want to do that. See, I had a choice, and I didn't want to do it. And then she said, all these rumors going around that me and my husband is getting a divorce and all that. She said, all that stuff is crap. She said, because if I was getting a divorce from him, she said, y'all would know about it. She said, I'm not no person. Everybody know me out there. No, I don't bite my tongue.
Wow.
Man, it was what she had to say was very enlightening. But hey, if anybody get a chance and stuff, you guys go out there and listen to Michelle's thing too and everything. I have to help promote her, my girlfriend also. She's gonna be something else out there. So and I know she's gonna have a lot of people who are very influential and stuff who's gonna be coming on to her podcast, because I believe that once she starts out, and she's already started, she's probably got at least 200,000-300,000 followers and stuff already. So, hey, go girl. Anyway, people, nice talking to you all today. We're gonna welcome you guys back tomorrow. And like Theodore said at the beginning, you're watching. All we need for you to do is subscribe to the channel for us. Thank you.